Alright, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to pick up some calculus here. This is going to be another integration practice video. This will be example number 37 of the integration practice series. Alright, so we're asked to evaluate the integral 1 over the square root of 3 minus 2x minus x squared dx. So, I guess the first thing that we could probably do here, we got that nasty square root in there. Let's complete the square. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the negative out. That'll make the completing the square a little easier. I'm going to rewrite this as x squared plus 2x minus 3. And we can complete the square for that. So what we'll do is we'll take half of our b term and square and add and subtract that from what we have. So in this case, our b here is 2. We divide that by 2, we'll get 1. So we'll keep the negative on the outside. So this would be x squared plus 2x minus 3. And then this would just be plus 1 squared minus 1 squared. All I'm doing here is completing the square. So the negative's on the outside. So I can write this side as x plus 1 squared. And then this would be minus 3 minus 1 squared. And then we still got our negative on the outside here. So it looks like we'll get negative x plus 1 squared plus 4. That's what we'll get when we complete the square there. So now the integral becomes 1 over the square root. Keep the negative on the outside. So I'll get negative x plus 1 squared plus 4 dx now. I think we've cleaned it up a little bit here. Alright, let's do a u substitution. We'll pick u to be x plus 1, obviously. So du is dx. So it looks like we'll just get the integral 1 over, we still got our square root. Looks like we'll get negative u squared plus 4 du. And we need to integrate this now. Now this looks like we can do a trig substitution. And typically, it would be x. But since we did a u substitution, I'm going to kind of modify the formula for the trig substitution a little bit. So if you notice here, we got the square root of negative u squared plus a squared. Which means that this is a sign substitution. And again, since we're doing since we did a u substitution to start, I'm just gonna, instead of using everything in terms of x, I'll just write everything in terms of u, so that way we can kind of follow it. So that means that u here will be equal to a sine theta. Since our a is 4, if I take the square root of 4, I'll get 2. So that means that u here is going to be 2 sine theta. I'll need to take the derivative of that, so we'll have du, which is 2 cosine theta d theta. So we're just doing a little trig substitution here. So up here, I'll just write 2 cosine theta, and this will be all over the square root. We'll stick in whatever our u was. And so this will be negative 2 sine theta squared plus 4. Integrating respect to theta. Let's deal with the square root. So we got negative 2 sine theta squared plus 4. Alright, so we clean that up on the inside here. We'll get negative 4 sine squared theta plus 4. I'm going to write that as the square root of 4 times the square root of negative sine squared theta plus 1. So this will give me 2. Remember, negative sine squared theta plus 1, that's cosine squared theta, so that'll be the square root of cosine squared theta, which you know is cosine theta, so then this will be just 2 times cosine theta after we do the simplification. So now we got our integral, and we got 2 cosine theta all over 2 cosine theta d theta. So cosines go, 2's go, and we're just left integrating d theta, which we know is just theta plus c. Okay. So we'll finish up the... I'll just put it here because I don't have any room. I'll just keep it hung out a little bit so I can follow. Okay, so all we have to do really is go back to our substitution. So remember that u was 2 sine theta. So if we solve for theta, that means that theta is going to be arc sine, or sine to the negative first, of u over 2. Now remember that u was x plus 1 if we go back to the substitution that we did at the beginning. So all we have to do is put that back in and write our final answer by adding the plus c. So it looks like our final answer for this integral here, where I integrate 1 over the square root of 3 minus 2x minus x squared dx. So it looks like our answer is going to be negative, or we're going to have arc sine, not negative, sorry. We're going to have arc sine, and I'm going to pull out a 1/2, so it'll be 1/2. Remember, u was x plus 1, so I just got to put that back in, and then it'll be plus c, and that would actually be your answer. Now recall, this is the same thing as that up here is the same thing as arc sine x plus 1 over 2 plus c. I just pulled out a 1/2, so that's the same thing as that. So if you wrote it that way, that's also correct. I just wrote it a little differently. Alright, so that's your answer for this. Alright, this one wasn't too bad. Did get a little involved, but nothing that we couldn't conquer, because we've worked on plenty of examples. Alright, so that is your solution. So let me know if you got any questions about how I got my answer. We could talk about it. I will see you guys next time.